That bike is supposed to be vivid blue. Well, it's blue burst, but that's a technical term. But it's supposed to be very vivid, as is the logo on my hat. But things are washed out because we're in D-Log M. So let's fix that by applying a LUT. So welcome back to Creator Reality, my friend. I'm John. I'm not a pro colorist, so I use LUTs to help me out in adding style. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what a LUT is. I'll show you how to find them on your system, how to use them in Resolve, and how to make your own, including a bonus tip of how to get AI to make them. And it's not perfect. I'm not claiming it is, but it is fun to play around with. So let's dive into Davinci Resolve and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here we are in Davinci Resolve, and I've got two clips. This first one was recorded using my DJI Pocket 3 in D-Log M, and the second one is the Pocket 3, but with the normal color selected. So this is how I record a lot of stuff. This is how a lot of people I know record their stuff. I do have some friends that record in log, so I'm covering both today. It's good fun. Now, before we get started, what is a LUT? It is a lookup table, and it basically tells the editor, hey, this color should really be that color, and this color should be that color. That's the simplest way I know to explain it, and it adds style to video very quickly. I'm sure somebody's going to go keyboard commando in the comments section and tell me how wrong I am, as they do on all my color grading videos, but at this point, I'm used to it. Let's move on. So where do we apply these? In the color page, of course. So here we are, and I've got a whole bunch of LUTs, and I made a demo LUT and all this stuff. But we're going to concentrate on the DJI one. So we've got all our folders here. And if you right click on this icon, open file location, it'll open up a window where you can actually see all of your LUTs. And they're all right here. We've got a whole bunch of things in there, and they'll end in either .ilut or .cube, or I guess .olut as well. The ones I get are always just .cube. But closing that, they're all listed right here, and all you have to do is drag one of those cube or LUT files into that folder we just opened, and then click refresh in here. So if I right click and click refresh, it'll refresh this list. If I go into DJI, I can right click anywhere, click refresh, it'll refresh the list. You do have to restart Resolve if you change a LUT, however, so keep that in mind. But let's apply a LUT. Let's play around with this, right? So I've got one right here, and I'm going to apply it. And it doesn't look like anything happened because this one is meant to go from Rec 709 to cinematic, and that's going to happen. So it's basically taking Rec 709 footage, which is what GoPros and DJI Pockets typically record in, and it's tweaking that. So it's making it more cinematic, which is just a teal orange LUT basically. So we're going to click on effects. If you don't see it, click effects, and then we can search here and type in color. And we'll see color space transform. I was playing with this earlier, so it's preloaded. In here, we have input color space, input gamma, output color space, and gamma. You can leave the output alone, and we can ignore all this other stuff. We're just doing the basics today. If you want to go tinker, go tinker. If you want to subscribe, click that button now. I'll give you a second. Okay, that was a second. Let's go. Input color space, we know this is a DJI log, so it's DJI D-Gamut. And then input gamma, we're going to select the DJI D-Log, and it looks pretty good. That's pretty much what it's going to look like out of the camera, right? It's not bad, but we're going to press Alt-S to create a serial node, and then we're going to drag our LUT on here. And now it's got that cinematic LUT to it. Easy enough to apply, right? Okay, let's go play with the Rec 709 footage, because that one gets a little more interesting. I've got some more LUTs for it. Yeah, lots of LUTs. That's hard to say, by the way. So here's our second clip, and I'm going to go back into the color page. I could have just navigated, I suppose, but I didn't. And we've got nothing here. If there is something here, you want to reset it, we can right click and reset all grades and nodes. If you have one node that you want to reset, you just right click and click reset node grade. But I'm going to drag this on, and it just made a slight difference. You can see if I press Control D, with this node selected, Control D to disable and re-enable. It makes things a little softer, a little warmer. The greens are a little bit more orange. It's not bad. Actually, if we click on this one here and scroll through, you can see that the red really pops. And I've got a LUT on this one. I did the color space transform because this was recorded in log. And then I've got my LUT here. If you right click on a node that has this little LUT icon, if you right click on your node, LUT is checked, and then it brings up this menu and it will show you the one that you've got. So that's the stylized cinematic one, the same one we were looking at earlier. And you can see that this red sort of pops a little bit too much and things like that, but overall, it's doing a good job. If I right click and reset all that, you can see it's log, Control Z to undo, and there we go. So it's back to cinematic look. Now things get interesting because on this clip, I've applied a severance look. So I've got a LUT here. So if I right click on this and I choose LUT, it's DJI, and it's DJI Osmo Pocket 3 D-Log M to Rec 709. I had AI build that one for me. So if I disable the second node, this is what it built for me that it thinks it should look like. And then over here, if I re-enable this one, because if we don't have the first one, it looks really, really washed out. But now it's bringing it to Rec 709, and then it's converting it to a severance look. So if I right click, I can show you that it's LUT and then severance heavy GoPro Rec 709. It was just me tinkering around in AI. We'll get to that in just a minute. And once we have a LUT applied, there's one last step that we can do. If you don't like the effect being so heavy, we can come click on our key icon over here, and then we can drag this gain down and back up again. So you can make the LUT apply just a little bit or a whole lot, and this works for any color grade that you have in the node. So I think that's pretty cool. But if we want to make our own LUT, let's reset all nodes and grades, and let's say we bump up the saturation quite a bit, we get the contrast going, it looks pretty good. Maybe we want it to be a little bit warmer, colder. Yeah, we want it colder a little bit, and then that looks pretty good, right? And let's say we want to give it a real blue tint, right? So this is noticeably different. If I select this node, press Control D, we went from this log footage to this look. Let's say we wanted to create a LUT from that. Well, we're going to need to right click on this thumbnail. And if you don't see these thumbnails, click on clips up here. It'll hide it and show it. But we're going to right click, generate LUT. And you have lots of choices, but in this case, I'm going to choose 33 point cube. That's what most everything that I've gotten has showed up as. And we're going to call it Demo Blue Pocket 3 Log to Rec 709. And it's going to automatically save it in our LUT folder. We're going to click Save. And then if we come over to LUTs, we should have a Demo Blue. There it is. So if I right click and reset all this, now we've got nothing going on. It's just the log footage. If I drag this on, it's got the LUT icon. It applied it. Control Z to undo. If you double click a LUT, it'll apply it as well. And if you really want to get squirrely, you can drag it over to the node and it'll apply it that way. So that's three ways to apply the LUT. So now that we've created the LUT, it's now redistributable. Yes, you can take that LUT from the folder I showed you earlier and copy it into another folder or copy it to another computer. If you're moving computers, check out my video on that here. Bringing Resolve over to another computer. Yay, good times. And you can go online and search for any kind of effect that you're looking for and download a LUT for it. Some are free, some are not. All the ones I use are free. But like I told you earlier, I got AI to generate one. Take a look at this clip now. I actually was chatting with ChatGPT and I broke it because I used too many of my free credits, I guess. I don't really know. And it told me it couldn't do it. So I told it to start where it left off and create me a LUT, and it did a bad job of it. It was creating LUTs that took the Rec 709 footage and converted it to log and modified it slightly, and they were basically unusable. So I went in and I told it, hey, you screwed up. You made it the reverse of what I need. So reverse what you did and make it right. And that is the stylized LUT that we started out with. So that's really neat, right? We can add style in seconds with LUTs. Even if you don't know how to color grade, you can at least apply a LUT to your footage. And now you know how to use them, what they are, how to make your own. It's pretty slick stuff, right? So leave the video a like and maybe consider subscribing. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. This has been fun. I hope to see you in the next video. It's going to be right there. John out.